Good morning. It's 6:55 a.m., July 3rd. Man, I woke up about 30 minutes ago. About 30 minutes ago. Yeah, I just gotta get a few things. But you know me, I gotta get my iced coffee. So, last year, when I went to go get my mini phone fixed, I got an iPhone mini. Um, and the screen got like frozen on it, so something happened to the point where the facial recognition was not working. It could have been anything, right? So I went up to Hudson, Hudson and Cleveland. There is a booth store up there. It wasn't my first choice, but that's where I ended up going to see if I could get my phone fixed. So the guy quoted me, he could fix my screen and stuff like that. And had a button issue too. Quoted me about 300 and some dollars. So I took the phone up there. Called me back a couple of hours later because he was able to get, like, kind of get the phone working to a point where I needed to come back up there and put the code inside of it to verify, like, the screen was actually working, the new screen. Then something was happening and the phone was heating up. So he kept it. I said, okay. He said he's going to try to fix it, figure out what's heating the phone up. I drove back down to South Columbus and let him keep the phone for like another day or two. Both times I went up there, there was this, for lack of better words, a ratchet looking girl with a quick weave. She was a little bit darker, and she was also part of the gang. She used to follow me down to South High Street, the Marathon store. Ratchet gang. I mean, this one looked hood, you know. Not that anybody can't be hood inside, you know, that's a two-way street right there. You can be all the way hood inside your heart. But she looked hood in and out. And, you know, she kind of had a weird looking body. She wasn't fat, but she just had a weird looking body. Like the shape wasn't shaping. The shape wasn't shaping. And she also was somebody that used to come around me when I go to certain stores because their GPS tracking me as a group, gang stalking me from the west side and a couple of other locations. Gang stalking me. And she would come around and be talking on her phone, things about me, but not like saying my name. You know how they try to act like, I'm doing it, but I ain't doing it. I'm showing you, but you can't see it. The foolishness of it all. Just continuous gang stalking. So last summer, like I said, she was one of the ones that was following me when I was going to get my lottery tickets to the marathon down there on South High Street, way down there on South High Street by the gas station. She also followed me up there to Lockbourne to get my phone fixed. So at that time, me and Jaffa was still sharing each other's location. This group is the one who put Jaffa in dire straits. They're the one who put him on blast and made sure he was their animal, put a leash around him. They were one of the groups. But see, he didn't have to go through what he went through, I'm sure. I'm sure he definitely got everything he wanted and everything he needed. But there was some real bad thugs that he ended up getting involved with. I assume because he was sleeping with women who he didn't think would have family or connections that would bust that ass. But they did. When these women started coming around me, and I'm seeing the cartel, I'm seeing the gang stalkers, I'm seeing, you know, all types of people from different groups. from all types of backgrounds, knowing that all of this is connected to Jaffa. I don't know what he promised them. I don't know what he told them. But I know it was a bunch of crap. I know it was a bunch of crap. But I guess they thought I was him. They thought I was going to have the same measurement. I meant what I said. You can't do anything to me.
Starbucks. What can I get started for you today?
Hey, good morning. Happy 3rd Red, White, and Boom. Can I have the venti iced brown sugar shaken espresso with an extra shot of espresso?
Yeah, and you said a venti?
Yep.
What else for you?
That's all.
Awesome, $8. I'll see you up here.
Great. So the same group, them black girls looking hood and ratchet, came to the bar last night. Right over there where I live at. I guess flexing is what they do, or I don't even know how you even say it. Showing off the nothing of it all. Hey, good morning.
It's gonna be $8 for you today.
Only $8? I'm rich. I said only $8.
I feel like they raise the prices every launch. I feel bad.
You know what? That's okay. I always need that extra shot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I mean, the ugliness of it all. Not even just the ratchetness of it. Thank you. Let me give you one back. Yes, I do need a straw. Thank you.
So much.
You're welcome.
Here you are. I'll have it in just a sec for you.
Yeah, take your time. So, yeah, the gang stalkers were there last night at the bar. Now, I had me a nice little shot of tequila. It was Alico Mezcal tequila. It was pretty good. I don't drink tequila. That's not my thing, but I had one yesterday, and I tell you, it's got this little smoky hint of flavor in there. It's real, real good. It's good. You should try it if you're 21. Drink responsibly. But yeah, so I was there, and you know they were ready to come in there and be animals. I don't care who y'all pay. I don't care what Jaffa did. I can't do anything about it. I meant what I said about me. About me. It ain't nothing y'all gonna do about it. Y'all can shuffle paper around. You can do whatever you want behind my back. I can't do anything about it. You got my identity. You got people who have stolen my identity. People who are doing all types of things on social media. Faking, frauding, fronting, and everything else. Thank you so much. You too. Faking, frauding. A whole bunch of crap going on that I'm still not aware about because they keep doing things behind my back. When, like I said, I've been in the public eye for over 20 years. All my careers I've had have been in the public. I mean, I wore a security uniform for years in the face of the public. I was a trainer at Teleperformance, training people for 6 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks, depending on what I needed to train them on. A certified trainer. I've worked in property management for the last 10 years, and in between I did IT stuff. The only way y'all got away with the crimes y'all have gotten away with is because the elites helped y'all, because y'all got money y'all moving through YouTube, through contracts, through social media fraud, the dark web, and everything else. I was completely gang stalked about this, like I said, from 2024. And they made it real clear when they were following me to the gym, Planet Fitness, having people wait outside the parking lot when I leave the gym. Also having people working out close to me, saying rash things, being invasive. I mean, it's gone on for so long. Like I said, even the girl was bragging that works at the Hollywood Casino on the West Side. She was bragging about how she was setting me up. This is why they were parking at the Buckeye Middle School parking lot and also paying the 2 black guys that worked over there during the summer last year to watch and report back to my house. One of the black guys that was working within this group at the Buckeye Middle School, he was driving a black Mercedes. Another black guy was driving a brown van. That girl from the casino that was smoking weed with Shan, she was the one over there running back and forth, and paying them to report back. Like I said, she had and in my police report, I stated that she had it was a green or a blue Chevy Malibu, and then she upgraded to a black Honda. I guess that's an upgrade. I don't drive Hondas. I've never driven a Honda, maybe a rental car, but I've never owned one. She was driving a black Honda. She got that black Honda that I could notice of sometime last year in the spring, and she continued to gang stalk me and follow me around the city and trash my name. And like I said before in my police report, when I requested my temporary protection order and it was warranted for me to have it, she followed me October 10th into the Franklin County garage. But she actually followed me from maybe 2 blocks away from my house down there on Parsons, all the way to the courthouse. She followed me to the 6th floor in the Franklin County Sheriff garage. There's cameras. Obviously, when you pull in, they have those cameras. He's shaking them down. He's shaking them down. The police. So, yeah. Followed me into the garage. I requested those camera footage to be pulled because I had already put posts on my YouTube channel about this particular broad following me around, and also being the one to brag about stealing money from the casino where she worked at, and then also working with my former co-worker. In 2022, I started working with her through to the time she lost her job. So I continuously dealt with this girl, paying people at the Buckeye Middle School to gang stalk, report back, say what I'm wearing, say what I'm leaving. Multiple times when I left out of the house to go pick up Jaffa from the truck stop at Love's, they were out there watching and waiting and taking pictures and doing whatever and lying. This girl also was trying to kidnap me last year in March in the Kroger parking lot in Great Southern. She tried to set it up with this skinny black dude that had a lot of gold on. He was driving a BMW with the top down, rack top, you know, red. She was bragging about being a part of the mafia, working with the gang. Y'all never had me on a leash. Y'all were lying. So this is why I don't know what kind of world y'all live in, just because you get money and because y'all are committing fraud and y'all have everybody with you, that's supposed to change something for me. Y'all did whatever. Y'all have said whatever. You've committed crimes in my name. You've abused my name, my identity. You've done everything. I'm going to continue to talk about it. I don't care. You stole my mail. The last 4 months, you stole my mail from my current address. You've been stealing my mail since I lived on Parsons Avenue, and then stealing it in Collingwood, because at my old address, mail was purposely being sent to my address on Collingwood after I moved. When I forwarded my address, maybe 3 days after I left Collingwood, I forwarded my mail to my new address. Come on, man. The amount of crimes y'all keep doing, and the gang stalking and the digital crimes and all of that. It's nonstop. The breaking and entering. And y'all have enough people that work at the police department and the courthouse to make sure all your paperwork gets pushed through, to make sure that any request I make through the Franklin County Courthouse gets denied, declined, or ignored as if I wasn't there. Just like the judge. That same judge handling my divorce case. When I went back to court on October 20th to present my evidence, I arrived outside of that courtroom 5 minutes early. I had my documents printed. I had everything on the thumb drive so that I could continue to have my protection order against Jaffa Abu-Beha. I was outside the courtroom 5 minutes early. I walked through the doors of the courthouse 8 to 10 minutes early. I was waiting. The judge wouldn't even see me because she waited. I waited. She came out, she called my name about 15, 20 minutes after I got out there. a pregnant white woman. She was maybe 5'2" with glasses, 5'3" with glasses. She looked about 8 months pregnant. She was working with the courts that day, calling people as you're waiting out there, and they call your name so you can come in and do what you have to do. So she comes out, she calls my name. Hi, I'm here. She said, oh, you didn't check in. I said, oh, I was waiting out here. Okay, let me see. I'll go back in here and talk to the judge. I said, well, I have all my paperwork. And she said, okay. So she goes back in there. She talks to the judge that's not Noble. She comes out. She said, I have some questions. She said the address that you provided for the protection order for Jaffa was the address you guys live at. Yes, I know. That's the only address I have for him. Do you know any other address? I said, no. So I wrote on the paper that she gave to me, I wrote Jasmine's address on there, Jasmine Fleshman on Big Tree. I wrote Taylor Livingston's address that I found online, what I thought I knew, which was through fcmcclerk.com, because you can go on there and see anybody's charges. Some charges, not all of them. But I also wrote on my protection order and on the paper that the pregnant woman gave me the day that I came back to court for my protection order hearing, October 20th last year, that Jaffa's immigration lawyer and his divorce attorney knows where he's living at. Once I blocked Jaffa last year, June 19th, June 20th, and I blocked my mom, I blocked everybody, why would I need to know where he's at? Yes, we had a lease together. In the state of Ohio, unless he signs himself off the lease, I can't get him off. It takes both parties. So it doesn't matter that I wanted him off the lease and requested him to get off the lease. Jaffa was being elusive. We weren't close after really March. We went through gang stalking collectively, but he was orchestrating the gang stalking. He was doing everything behind my back. I wasn't supposed to know where he lived at. I'm asking for protection. Are y'all dumb? Is this how you treat people who are actually going through a lot of heavy gang stalking, digital crimes, cyber stalking, people getting all types of groups to do this and do that all over Columbus, Ohio, like they some celebrities or something? Cause y'all got some YouTube channels. Cause y'all content creators. Cause y'all some content creators. I mean, the amount of black girls, let me say this. The amount of black girls that Jaffa was sleeping with, I mean, back then I at least was harassed by 5 or 6 at the time. There was a couple of different Mexican girls, but I can tell you it was like everybody who either knew me from the gym or just met me in passing or something like that. You know, they got my card, so they knew my name, look up my information, see who I'm married to, and then go harass Jaffa, go throw bones at Jaffa, go throw really salt at Jaffa, but it looked like sugar because, you know, salt and sugar looks the same. And he fell for it every time. It did not matter who it was. It did not matter how many black girls, the Mexican girls, the white girls. He fell for the traps every single time. And then some people were willingly stabbing me in the back. People I didn't know, like my ex's baby mamas. I didn't know them, but they knew that me and Leroy had a past and we were still friends and we never had issues like that. I mean, our issues were private, but it was very, very small. It wasn't nothing major, at least not to me. I didn't realize how much of a snake in the grass he was. But it just went on and on and on. And every time Jaffa took the bait on the hook. No, I'm not easily fooled. Yes, I was deceived, but I'm not easily fooled. I was deceived. And I never should have been. I didn't do that to anybody. Where was the time for that at? I went to work all the time. I came home and made good meals all the time, mostly my whole life. I didn't go through struggle. No, I never had much, not a lot of luxury stuff, but I took my trips. I went on my vacations. I bought my nice clothes. I took care of myself. I have always had integrity. I was born with it. I didn't have to figure it out. And I don't need 1,000 people to tell me, you the best, Jess. You got this. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay to get kudos. It's okay to get credit for what you do in recognition. But I've never required it to a T. I don't got no tears to cry just because you don't give it to me. Please. Please. I'm not going to boo-hoo-hoo just because. Come on, man. Nobody got time for that. I'm growing and going. But I meant what I said about my citizenship. Since y'all keep stealing everything and y'all keep committing crimes in my name, like I said, I have no historical record of doing crimes and things like that. But y'all have been able to get away with it. I will not choose to allow my identity to continue to be stolen. So I'm sure at this point, because I've been announcing it for the last 20 days, that y'all have been working hard to keep y'all's crimes going, to continuously set people up. And I'm the one that is having my name dragged through the mud just because y'all have connections at the Franklin County Court. Y'all have organized crime going on at the Franklin County Court at the highest levels. And my name, Jessica Lynette Younger, when I've been to that courthouse 80 times for eviction court. Over 80 times. I've been going to eviction court since 2020 for my properties. So, how that I can go to court, represent companies and ownership groups, but then I'm left out of things that actually matter, while Jaffa and his divorce attorney commit fraud with the judge that's not noble? Again, I've already said it. You can't use you can't use whiteout on any legal document in the state of Ohio, but that was allowed to be used on me. This organized crime group that work with whatever real estate company, still, I can't find the address for the property that Jaffa put a hit on me on to keep hidden from me. The hitman told me that Jaffa had properties, and he was trying to kill me so that I wouldn't have anything, that I would be left out of everything. He was trying to kill me, and this hitman been watching me for months. It was multiple hitmen because each group had a hitman. Each group had a hitman to try to take me down, all because Jaffa told them this and that and the third. A bunch of lies. So when I filed my police report last year, it was valid. That was part of the proof that I was bringing to the judge on October 20th. This is what I told the judge when I got my protection order on October 14th about these girls gang stalking me, describing their cars, giving them data to pull up camera footage so that this could be researched, because these broads keep following me everywhere. These hitmen keep following me everywhere. They had no reason to. I didn't do anything to them. Jaffa was the one hiding money and fraud and all of these other things. Again, I said it. I knew the same people for decades. If I was some type of person that was no good or had a bunch of issues, nobody has to be anybody's friends. Nobody has to get to know anybody. That's on you if you make those choices to spend time with people. I didn't have these issues. People called me anytime. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. I had no problem talking with people. I had some friends overseas. I had some friends here in America. I had some friends in the military. No problem talking to them all these years. But somehow when I married Jaffa, I guess they flipped their wig. They put shades on so that I couldn't see their eyes. The way I see it is y'all are sands in an hourglass. And the sands is running out. The sands of time, it's running out. So no, I'm not gonna sit here and continuously have my name and information dragged through the mud just because what the hitman said was true. It was definitely reality. And I didn't even find out about it until then, that Jaffa had all these things going on, all this money he was moving, until a hitman told me. And then here go the proof smacking me right in the face December 1st, the day of our divorce hearing. When Hala Hamayel hands me the divorce decree, and there go the property sitting on the divorce decree. All this money and these Bitcoin accounts and everything sitting right there on the divorce decree. Well, I was chasing justice for months, trying to get legal support for months. Again, I self-represented because I could not afford a lawyer. And then places that I would go to try to get different types of support, they were getting calls either the moment I was there or after I left to not support me, to not follow up with me. When I submitted all the police reports and information to Olivia and the Columbus Crime Stalkers Unit, when I did that, she had the information because she could pull up the police reports. And I gave her specific details in an email. And she told me, sorry, I cannot help you. After a week and a half, 2 weeks of going back and forth with her, missing some calls, kind of hitting and missing on the calls, she said she could not help me. Throughout all this gang stalking, what is the Columbus Gang Stalking Crime Unit for when you can't help me and I'm giving you the information? And y'all are telling me when I file these police reports that there's known suspects in these police reports. I'm the victim. I'm the witness to these crimes. And you couldn't help me? That was all purposely done to block me. All purposely done so that the gang stalkers could continue to have their way and commit fraud in my name. For a year and a half, I've been reporting these things. Nothing has been done. All they do is keep on committing organized crime through the Franklin County Municipal Court Group. The police department ignores me accordingly so that the crimes that are going on in my name can continue to go on. I do not know this address that Jaffa had on the divorce decree. I don't know the address of that house. I don't know everything that Jaffa did. I don't know who he partnered with, but I know I was gang stalked by them and him. And they did this aggressively while they were committing criminal acts. And all I did was continue to live my life and work hard. When I left my job last year in February, because that's what I did, I left. I have the emails to prove it. I gave them a 30-day notice. That's what I did. Jim decided and told me that when people want to separate from the Weiler Company, that instead of working out their notice, they usually go ahead and agree to part ways on the days that they basically submit notice. Okay, he's the VP. Why would I not just take that out? Okay, I left. I put in my notice at 10:30 in the morning. Jim came to the property around 4 o'clock. We talked for about 2 hours, and I left maybe around 6 or a little after 6. I had already had my stuff ready because once he got there, he said, hey, this is how we're going to do it. We talked a little bit because obviously I did a great job at Vera. And in my email, I said it'll be easy for someone to pick up where I leave off, because I assumed at the time when I sent the email that I would get my 30-day notice out, or at the very least 2 weeks, because you only require 2 weeks when you're submitting notice. I had no reason to leave that job for real, but I wasn't getting the recognition I deserve. I was also tired of my commissions being shorted and kind of being ignored. When I'm the one who got the property to 100%, I started in February 2025 or 2024, and I got the property to 100% occupied by the middle of July, end of July, which was the third time I had done that. That was a consistency I brought to them. I worked for the same owners at another property, and I did a great job there and handled their property for a year and 4 months. So when I was leaving the other job because I didn't accept another opportunity with that company, I went ahead and worked out a 30-day notice with them. I was able to stay. And then the owner said, hey, we got another position. You can come work for us at this property. It's close by. We can do it this way. I said, okay, great. This is good. So when I left my job with Metropolitan Holdings, I'd already had another job with the owners. It worked out because I did well. I did the same thing at Frisbee. I started at Frisbee November 2022, and I got the property to 100% occupied, pre-leased by end of May, early June, and the owner had a party over there because we had success. I know what I'm doing and I know what I can do. Property management, like everything in my life, is like the back of my hand, the black hand. I can do it anywhere I go, and I do it. I do it well. I do it with peace. I do it with leadership. I do it with organization. I do it the right way. This is why I've been successful at the jobs that I've had. I had no reason to taint my success, but to Jaffa and his family and his community, I was a black woman and I shouldn't have anything. Honey, it wouldn't have mattered if it was a nickel in my own bank account. I shouldn't have anything that I've worked hard for because this is how they were looking down on me. I translated some calls that Jaffa was making in Arabic between January and February and March. And I realized through some of the translations, because I can't get all of it, I couldn't get all of the stuff to translate, that whatever he was planning, the death he was bringing into the marriage, and coupled with the gang stalking I was going through, that was about me. That was about me. By early April, mid-April, it was evident that Jaffa was destroying my life, using my name, using me, tearing my life down. And he was using his community to back it up and using connections at the Bank of America to commit fraud in my name and to move money through Jaffa Adventures, the bank account he had set up over there off of Harrisburg Pike. I don't know how he was able to continue this on, because as a foreign person and you're going through citizenship steps, he was able to move a lot of money, get properties and things like that using both of our information. But the thing was, that was not consistent to how I lived before I married him. And with him able to move that amount of money and everybody look away, and that sent no red flags through the system, through the Immigration Fraud Bureau, that sent no red flags that I'm the one who's using money in my bank accounts, my bank account that only comes from my job. I'm not using any other money, and I'm using my credit cards that are the same credit cards I've had for years. And that I'm a part of this on paper, but I'm actually not the one benefiting from any of this because I don't know about it. The bank was allowing somebody to impersonate me. Jaffa was allowing somebody to impersonate me so that I would not know what was going on. It was devastating by the time I had to take time and months and months and months to put two and two together. But when I did, I separated from Jaffa and filed divorce when I could afford it, which was 2.5 weeks after I separated from Jaffa. I filed divorce. Black women do not get the credit that we deserve in this country for taking good care of ourselves. We do not get the credit that we deserve for trying to ensure that things that put us in different categories in life don't continue to exist. Everything I did was no different than any other woman of any race that is being taunted and gang stalked insidiously to watch it all fall apart. But that's what happened. I was ignored. No matter what I said when I came to the courtroom on July 10th, I spoke about the adultery. I spoke about the theft. I spoke about the discrimination. I spoke about the hate I was receiving in the marriage based on Jaffa's preferences, based on how his family was responding to the fact that I was a black woman, based on all the hate I was going through. I spoke about it on July 10th. The judge asked, what is the reason why we're here today? This is why. I said it again when I came back on October 10th. I said it again how Jaffa's lawyer was ignoring my questions. I said it again that I had tried to communicate with Jaffa via email only, and I was not getting those answers because Jaffa came back and he moved his stuff out sometime around the end of June, early July, something like that last year, which was great. Like, I was good with that. I was cool with that. I had already blocked Jaffa. It did not matter. I did not care if he was in the house or not. I wanted him off the lease. Of course, that didn't stop anything. Jaffa had already given the keys to the gang stalkers, and he knew they were breaking into the house and connecting to the Wi-Fi. He knew that they were jamming the Wi-Fi router and hacking my emails. So he was happy to get out the way. Like, let me get out the way then. I'll go do whatever I want to do and leave me with the dirt. And all I did was go to work. And everybody backed up this group. So y'all put Jaffa on a leash. Y'all put whatever rings y'all wanted around his neck, not mine. You did on paper. You committed fraud on paper. You committed bank fraud. You committed real estate fraud. You broke into my house. You created fake social media profiles on Facebook and Instagram and bragged about it. Y'all did that. That didn't have anything to do with me. Technology shows that that didn't have anything to do with me. But y'all kept going and going and going and going, while I was the one that stayed right and stayed corrected and kept things real. Y'all were able to win with lies, forgery, and fraud. This is debauchery at the highest levels, identity theft at the highest levels, and I did nothing wrong. This is continuous because that woman who lost her job that I found out about yesterday lost her job. She should have never lost her job. She never should have lost her job. But y'all don't care who y'all hurt. Y'all do not care who y'all hurt. Y'all continue to go on and on and on because y'all have the pool of the elites on your side. You're never going to win for real. You have hate, hate, and hate. And yes, there are many things in the world that thrive off of hate, discrimination, complacency, ridiculousness. A lot of things thrive in this world from those things. I mean, corporations have been built. Um, Tall buildings over here have been built real high. Men, women, and children's lives have been destroyed because of hate. In this country, a lot of people of every race, citizen and non-citizen, their lives have been destroyed because of hate, discrimination, fraud, and forgery, not receiving justice. Y'all have completely set the bar high now to a certain level of hate that has a ripple effect across all things now. This is what you made with your hand. This is what you did with your hand. This is what y'all did as a group, as a team. This is what y'all did with leadership. Y'all wrapped it up in a nice bow and handed it out to everyone. That's what you chose. That's what you chose. This is why I said a couple of weeks ago that those Tuskegee Airmen and those African Americans that served in the military, and then they were treated like animals afterwards, they ended up dying in vain because they were treated like animals. They weren't provided with the truth. They weren't given fair chances. They were treated like criminals when all they did was serve and give their lives. And doctors screwed them over in this country. Banks took their money and made them sick on purpose. In Virginia, we were we were taught, and there's historical records of black people who own land in Virginia, and they would purposely go put poisons in the wells, the water wells, and poison the food when the black families weren't there. And then the people at the bank would snatch up their houses when mama and daddy got sick, or mama got sick, daddy got sick, and they needed to pay for care. They would end up saying, mama would say, well, daddy's life means a lot to us. Let's sell our land so we can have this money to take care of daddy. Same thing with mommy. Mommy is sick. Let's sell the house. Let's sell our cars. Let's sell the animals we have, the cows, the horses. Let's sell the cornfields, back in the day, so that we can have money to take care of mama, take care of grandma, because we valued life. Purposely making those particular black people sick so that they could take what they have. Look it up. There's historical records and proof of it. Destroying people's lives. Because why, when you own land, there's county records that show what you owe. When you maybe, black people back then, some of them living decent lives, having some money in the bank. Obviously, we know who's working at the bank, and they find a way to take it because they know Mr. Johnson, he got $100,000 sitting in the bank. Well, black people shouldn't have that. He's going to help his people grow. Let's go ahead and make Mr. Johnson sick. And then they'll use all the money, or we'll find a way to take the house, and they won't have it anymore. They died in vain because they didn't know what really happened to them. In this generation, decades and decades and decades later, that information came out as truth and fact and everything else. And those people, unfortunately, died in vain. But we knew their reality. We know their reality today because it was proven that those communities were set up to fail. No different than the drug epidemic. The drugs being sent in certain communities so that they could set these communities up to fail. This is how y'all win. By creating chaos and failure. See, the difference is, I already said I don't play this game. This is not about me winning. This is not about me losing. I sought justice. I had already paid for justice, working for justice, standing up for others. For me to be left in the background and not receive justice just because y'all have organized crime group, have crime going on at the Franklin County Courthouse, and those people who work at the Franklin County Courthouse are connected to gangs across the city and out of the city as well. Let's not leave it there. Because y'all can make a phone call is the same reason I'm not going to stop. I'm not stopping. You can do whatever you want with my YouTube algorithm now. You can continue to do what you want. It doesn't mean I'm going to stop talking. If I had more information, I'd direct it accordingly. I don't have it because I was left out of everything when I went to the courthouse to ask certain questions. They kept saying, no, this is not what's happening. Or no, there's no information associated with your name. When I went there and asked for records, no, there's nothing here. When I called the Attorney General and I spoke with Cindy about the taxes I found in my name after I left the courthouse, because it was available online, and the girl at the desk at the courthouse obviously lied directly to my face. I called the Attorney General's office. I spoke with a girl named Cindy, and she put me on hold for about 5 or 10 minutes. And she said, oh, these two cases you're talking about with this taxation, I can't find information on one of them. But I said, it's right here online, and I'm giving you the tax information, the number that I found online. How can't you find it? She said, oh, well, one of these is fraud. I said, well, I've been going through fraud, identity fraud, impersonation, and things like that. I said, but I'm the real Jessica Scott. I'm Jessica Younger now, but that is my name. That was my maiden name. And I said, you need to speak with me about this. I need to speak to someone face to face about this. And she said, oh, well, there's fraud associated with it. Okay, well, I still need to be the one you speak to about it. It's in my name, literally talking in circles to me. Well, let me take down your information and I'll have someone call you back. Gave her my name, gave her my phone number. I said, hey, this is where I live and where I work. The proof is you're talking to the real one. Here's my LinkedIn profile. Had a LinkedIn profile for 13 years now. This is who I am. I didn't do these things. I never received a call back. I never received a letter in the mail. I never received anything. They recognize it as fraud and somehow it's still sitting there. So Judge Kim Brown is the name of the judge on the paperwork. So I called Franklin County Courthouse and requested to speak to Judge Kim Brown because this thing was done in 2021 and I think the other was 2019 or 2020. I never received a call back. This is constant. It's just a loop of me constantly being ignored, constantly being left out, constantly having whatever they want to go on in the background to go their way. It's just a constant loop. So of course I have to keep on making YouTube videos and posting on my LinkedIn channel because they obviously have to get their way. No matter what, they have to get their way. They have to be the ones to succeed in this and continue on with these crimes. These people, organized crime is money laundering. It is setups for murder. It's setups for people to commit failure, people to be followed around, people to be forced to do certain things so that they can keep their money lined up in their pockets, so that they can afford to keep people working for them on the street. That's what organized crime is. It means that people who have power have the tenacity to organize crime outside of them so that things don't get traced back to them. But there's always a record because organized crime is regarding money, properties, people's identities. These are a couple of the major things, but not limited to. Land, insurance policies. They have to keep these things lined up so that it looks like it's not them, but it is them. I never got the support from the Columbus Police Department, the Columbus Crime Stalkers Gang Unit, the Attorney General, the Franklin County Municipal Court. Never got the support. My mail was stolen. My mail was frauded. They have the address where my mail was forwarded to. They destroyed it. They destroyed the fact that I forwarded my mail, but I have the proof of it in my email, what I did when I moved. Obviously, like I said, I moved where I work at. And that's not a secret. All the gang stalkers know it. The police department know it because I wrote my first police report in January about them breaking into my house and stealing my clothes, stealing a copy of my lease, and other documents I had in my drawer. There's no reason anyone should have a copy of my new ID, my old ID, or any ID I've ever used, but there's no reason anybody should have a copy of it. My new birth certificate, because they stole the old one, and then they break in my house, steal important documentation, still documentation, and then break back into my apartment after they're done with it a month later, a month and a half later, 2 months later, and put the documents back in my house. It's completely organized.